Good morning, beloveds. It's been kind of a week. Both Tom and I got vaccinated. I got vaccinated last Saturday, and I got the Johnson & Johnson. And then 2 days later, we find out that, well, there may be a problem. I'm fine. I mean, granted, I still have a week to wait out, but it's literally 1 in a million. And while I am 1 in a million in other areas, I'm not in this area. And then Tom was going to get it on Thursday, and then obviously they put the pause on it, and so he got an appointment to get the Moderna with HEV. So he did that, and so by the time we got to the end of the week, both of us I admit it, we're both ragged and tired. So this morning when the alarm went off and I got up and I said something, and I said, "Do you want to get up and go for a run?" And he says, "No." And so we both kind of laid back down, and then we got up 45 minutes later, and I was like, I need to go to the park. But we didn't go for a run. What we did was we took the peanuts and we walked. Now the weather's a little and so there weren't a whole lot of squirrels, but we did see some squirrels, and so we threw some peanuts for some squirrels. And then the Blue Jays know who we are. And so the Blue Jays popped out, and one of them just quite literally posed for me. Just kind of nonchalantly flew down for the peanut and then stood there. So I snapped several pictures of the Blue Jay, and it's beautiful, and I'm happy that I went. And that's what I'm talking about engaging your mind and your body and doing something kind for yourself. I opted to skip the run to be kind to my body, but I still went for a walk to get that exercise and to toss peanuts to squirrels because it's something we both enjoy doing. And then if you've watched the news at all this week, it's been heartbreaking. It's been absolutely heartbreaking. And yet we still get up and do our jobs and live our lives. And the only thing we can do is do this. So, yeah. That's part of the reason why I do these 365s with Ernest Holmes, is because the more we know, the more we're in touch with who we are, the more we are in touch with who each other is, we can do better. We can get better. So, yeah. All right. So, April 17th, and our title is "Today is a Day of Result as I Let God Think My Consciousness." And he's moved on to Matthew, and it literally says, "Our Father." That's the Bible quote. Matthew 6:9. So it's the "Our Father, which art in heaven," because that's tomorrow. Which art in heaven. All right, so one God, one presence, one mind, one law, and this is my divine heritage, for it created me out of itself. All this surrounds me, dwells in me, and acts through me. I stand in the great forever. I live in the ocean of truth. I am the beloved Son of the Father, and I do that which pleases him today. With eyes uplifted unto the hills of truth, I walk my pathway in wisdom and love. I have divine integrity, and I know that with his wisdom inspiring me, I can never make a mistake. The world cannot fool me. My fellow man cannot confuse me. I am a spiritual being in a spiritual experience right now. Ideas are coming to me at every instant, and they offer me a greater portion of life than I now have. I accept them and increase my good. Unto me is given the truth, for all that the Father hath is mine. God presents himself to his universe by means of me. He that seeth me seeth him who sent me. I accept this divine inheritance and fulfill my true place in the Father's plan. I am a child of a king who rules in grace and truth. Knowing this, I dedicate my life to expressing the attributes of God. I am an ever unfolding expression of infinite mind. This mind indwells in me and leads me into health, prosperity, and peace. I let God think my consciousness. I let God think in my consciousness. I let divine love be my expression and my joy. I know that he who made me will never fail me. I give thanks that I am a spiritual being living in God's universe of order. The beneficent of the Almighty is upon me. The benediction of the Almighty is upon me, and today is filled with good. Today is filled with good. So it's up to me to find it. And I think that's part of me getting up and going to the park. Because I had to go find my good. Otherwise, Saturday is my day off. Saturday is the day that I literally take off. I might do a little something around the house, but I don't do work. Either of my jobs, any of my jobs. And so some days I might, so that's part of what going to the park is it is going to find my good. All right. So today is a day of results as I let God think in my consciousness. One of the most powerful stories that I've heard is a very experienced practitioner, and since I'm repeating somebody else's story, it possibly could have been a minister, but somebody who'd been in the practitioner, because ministers are just practitioners with a little more training. We're practitioners first. So somebody who had been a practitioner for a while came to a newly minted practitioner and said, "Treat for me." And the practitioner freaked out. The new practitioner freaked out and was like, and the minister, or the experienced practitioner said, "I trust you to do this because you're not going." They quoted Emma. The words of Emma are, "It's not you who, it's the power that you're going to use. It's like you're going to go to the power. So that's what I trust. I trust that you are going to access that God power." And so that's like, they're not your words, they're God's words. And that's where we're going today. It's like, think in God. I'm going to let God think through my consciousness. I'm going to think as God thinks. It's like, I'm going to pray as God prays. I'm not praying as I pray. I'm praying as God prays. That's the goal that we all have. And how does God pray? God prays with love. God prays with compassion. God prays with kindness. God prays with unity. Because there's nothing outside of God. So when we pray that way, then we are letting God think through our consciousness. And that's exactly what we're going for today. So as God's results are letting God think through us, but all of those qualities of God, we're accessing those qualities of God: peace, love, kindness, compassion, generosity, beauty, truth. One God, one presence, one mind, one law. And this is my divine heritage. So our divine heritage is this oneness. For it created me out of itself. Our divine heritage because we were created from it. We were created from it, by it. All this surrounds me, dwells in me, and acts through me. Quote, I stand in the great forever. I live in the ocean of truth. Close quote. I have no idea where that quote is from. I have never heard it before, but that's what Ernest is telling us. We stand in the great forever. We live in the ocean of truth. It is all around us. It takes consciousness sometimes to see it through the mortal noise, the material noise. And he says, the line is, I am the beloved son of the Father, and I do that which pleases him today. Okay, I'm not a son, so I am the beloved child of God, and I do that which pleases God today. What pleases God today? Me being my authentic self. What pleases God today? You being your authentic self. You, us, expressing those qualities of love, of kindness, of peace, of joy, of unity, of recognizing our authentic self. That is how we act as the children of God. With eyes uplifted unto the hills of truth, I walk my pathway in wisdom and love. That's how we act like the children of God. I have divine integrity. I know that with his wisdom inspiring me, I can never make a mistake. So I have divine integrity if I am willing to use the wisdom of God, which is all those qualities that we're constantly talking about: love, peace, wisdom, creativity, unity. And every time I list them, I leave something off. So I have divine integrity. We have divine integrity because we know that, okay, we have divine integrity. We know that God's wisdom is inspiring us. We can never make a mistake. The world cannot fool us. The world cannot fool me. The world cannot fool us. And my fellows cannot confuse us if we're willing to go back and see the truth. So we look a condition in the eye. We look at condition. We acknowledge the condition and we say, I see you, but I see through you to the truth behind you. This is not you. The condition is not real. You're happening, but you're not real. You're not the truth. And so we will work through you to get to the truth behind you. Whatever that truth is. If it is wholeness, if it is unity, if it is peace, we will get through you to that truth, to that divine truth. I am a spiritual being in a spiritual experience right now. So that's something that you say to yourself. I am a spiritual. So when you're faced with something, you're like, oh, okay, I am a spiritual being in a spiritual experience right now. That is what the truth of us is. Right now, no matter what is happening around us, we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Ideas are coming to me at every instance, and they offer me a greater portion of life than I have now. Now, so the ideas are coming, but the next line is what tells us, I accept them and increase my good. So we can have a bigger portion of life, but we have to be willing to accept it. And sometimes that means doing scary things. Unto me is given the truth, for all that the Father hath is mine. Basically, God gave the world to us. And everything within God's power is possible to us because we were made from that God stuff. God presents itself to its universe by means of me. So God presents to the world through me. God presents to the world through you. Are you being a good representative of God? Sometimes I say things and I think, woo, that wasn't That wasn't a good representation. And then that lets me check myself and, am I being a good representative? Don't tell me you're God, show me you're God. Okay, this is a quote. He that seeth me, seeth him who sent me. Jesus said that. Don't tell me about your God, show me your God. That's what Jesus came to do. Jesus came to show us the God that Jesus knows. And he did it with love and compassion and healing and teaching. I accept this divine inheritance and fulfill my true place in God's plan. I am the child of a king. You are a child of a king. You are a child of God who rules in grace and truth. Knowing this, I dedicate my life to expressing the attributes of God. I'm not going to list them again. I am an ever unfolding expression of the infinite mind. So you are an ever unfolding expression of the infinite mind. There's always something new coming from you. Always something new coming from you. This mind indwells in me and leads me into health, prosperity, and peace. I let God think in my consciousness. I let divine love be my expression of my joy. Therein lies the choice. I let God think in my consciousness. I let divine love be my expression of joy. That's the choice. You can choose not to. Why would you? I know that God who made me will never fail me. I know that God will never fail me. And here's the other side of that coin. We can never fail God. Even when we are not acting our best selves, even when we are not acting in our best interest, we are still not failing God. But we can choose again, and we can choose to do better. But we'll never fail God, and God will never fail us. I give thanks that I am a spiritual being living in God's universe of order. The benediction of the Almighty is upon me, and today is filled with good. All right. So our mission today, it's right there in the title, is to let God think in my consciousness. What does that even mean? To think as God thinks, to love as God loves, to know as God knows, to recognize that there's one, and that we're all a part of that one, to be willing to look into each other's eyes and see God looking back at us. So, it's not a small mission, but it really is what all this work is about. To recognize that God is, and that all is God. And to know that the answer that we seek already exists. We just have to be willing to accept it. So, as always, I do encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that is. Whatever it takes. Because you deserve it. You're a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. And if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. And that is the Dalai Lama. And it's truth. So, do something to engage your mind and your body. If you are in this area, it's cool right now. It's a good time to open your windows. Get some fresh air. There's no sun to get on your face this morning. But take care of yourself. Drink some water. Rest. Because I'm going to go do that. Alright, beloveds? And do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day. And one of the things that you can do is open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. It is up to you to see it. All right? So whatever else you know today, do know that you are loved. And with it being Saturday, Reverend David will be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. And then right here on Facebook Live, we will have a really amazing service for you. All right, beloveds, do what you need to do to have a wonderful day. And if you ever want to hear any of these again from anything starting from, March of 2020, they're archived on the Running Rev YouTube channel. Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day. Know that you're loved.